Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. As the end of times approaches, Allah Ta'ala will send Hazrat Jibreel alayhi salam to earth, and with him, he will take away 6 profound and valuable blessings from the world. These will include the Holy Quran, the vast knowledge that spans the entire universe, the coffin of Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam, Hazrat Musa alayhi salam's legacy, and 5 other significant gifts. These sacred and essential items will be taken away, leaving humanity bereft of these immense blessings. Then, as the time of Qayamat draws nearer, there will emerge terrifying and powerful communities unlike any before. Among them will be women capable of bearing over 1,000 children at once, and these communities will be so formidable that no human force will have the strength to resist them. They will be invincible. Due to their overwhelming power, people will live in constant fear, hiding within their homes, keeping both their families and animals sheltered from the approaching terror. These ruthless beings will devour everything in their path: wild animals, birds, plants, water sources, and even human beings. No living thing will be spared. Wherever they pass, devastation and destruction will follow. This brings us to an important discussion in the 6th installment of the Qayamat series, where we will delve into the specifics of a dreadful community known as Yajuj Majuj. We will explore who they are, how they will invade the world, their current location, the history behind their imprisonment, the lineage they belong to, and much more. So I humbly request that you watch this video in its entirety. And if you find the information valuable, please share it with your friends and family by liking, commenting, and sharing it. Now, my dear friend, it is important to note that Allah has created more than 200 distinct types of creatures on this earth. Much like the earth itself, these creatures will face their demise when the time for Qayamat arrives. Throughout history, there have been many communities that have committed immense cruelty, and because of their tyranny, darkness, and suffering spread across the world. To end such reigns of terror, Allah sent His chosen prophets. One such infamous community, known for their cruelty, were the Yajuj Majuj, about whom we are about to discuss. After the defeat of the Dajjal and the return of peace to the world, Allah Ta'ala will command Hazrat Isa alayhi salam to take all the believers to Mount Sinai, also known as Koh-i-Tur. This is the same sacred place where Prophet Musa alayhi salam conversed directly with Allah. The reason for this command is that an incredibly savage and violent tribe will soon be released, one so powerful that no human community will be able to stand against them. At that time, Hazrat Isa alayhi salam, in obedience to Allah's command, will lead the believers to the mountaintop for safety. There, they will remain in a fortified shelter, awaiting the impending danger. It is essential to remember that all human beings, irrespective of their backgrounds, are descendants of Hazrat Adam alayhi salam. Even the Yajuj Majuj, though infamous for their savagery, are from the same lineage. Hazrat Adam alayhi salam had 3 sons, and one of them, named Yaf, had 12 children. Among his children were 2 sons named Yajuj and Majuj, and from them, the notorious tribes of Yajuj Majuj originated. When Allah divided humanity into 10 parts, 9 of those parts were allotted to Yajuj Majuj, and only 1 part to the rest of mankind. According to Islamic tradition, these tribes are considered disbelievers, and their wickedness is widely acknowledged. Even in the religious texts of other faiths, Yajuj Majuj are mentioned as a brutal and oppressive people. In the Holy Quran, Surah Al-Kahf, verses 83 to 97, Allah describes them as 2 fierce and warlike communities. They are mentioned as being responsible for countless atrocities, bringing suffering and despair to those around them. Historically, Yajuj Majuj were a confederation of fierce tribes, living in the remote northern regions of Asia. These tribes were known for their warlike behavior, ruthless nature, and devastating raids. They had broad faces and were short in stature, with small eyes, fair complexions, and black hair. They had a unique physical appearance and were built with broad, tall bodies. It became their regular practice to raid the human world by descending from the mountains in large, violent groups, bringing ruin and destruction wherever they went. They were notorious for their ability to overpower even the most fearsome beasts and would consume everything in their path, including snakes, scorpions, and even humans. Destruction and chaos were their trademarks. When these people launched their raids, they would destroy crops, spoil farmlands, and often engage in cannibalism devouring anyone they captured. Such was their brutality that even stealing property and cattle became a routine for them. The world lived in terror, praying to Allah to rid them of this calamity. One day, as the Yajuj Majuj tribe raided, the inhabitants of the land woke up to find a vast and mysterious army of thousands camped in their fields. Alarmed and confused, a few community leaders approached the army's commander, hoping to negotiate. After some discussion, the army's commander assured the leaders that his army would neither conquer their lands nor seize their wealth, livestock, or crops. The leaders, relieved by his promises, were told, however, that they would first be presented before the mighty king, Zulkarnain. This news intrigued them, and they wondered whether this king might be the savior they had long prayed for. Hazrat Zulqarnain, though not a prophet, was a righteous servant of Allah and a powerful king. He was granted extraordinary wisdom, strength, and resources by Allah. Zulkarnain traveled far and wide, encountering strange places and people along his journeys. Once he reached a place where the sun appeared to set in a pool of black mud. Allah gave him the choice to punish or show mercy to the inhabitants there, and he chose justice, punishing the wicked while sparing the virtuous. On another journey, Hazrat Zulqarnain traveled eastward, where he encountered a people who lived under the open sky without any protection from the scorching sun. Allah gave him the power to help them, should he choose. Continuing his travels, Zulkarnain came upon two great mountains and a people who could hardly communicate. These people spoke of their suffering at the hands of Yajuj and Majuj and asked for his assistance in building a barrier to protect them. Zulkarnain, wise and humble, agreed to help, but insisted that the people contribute their strength to the effort. He began constructing a mighty wall between the mountains to block Yajuj and Majuj's advance. This barrier was unlike any others, as Zulkarnain was instructed by Allah to use iron, a material that was not widely known for its use at the time. The people, under his guidance, crafted large sheets of iron, which were welded together to form an impenetrable barrier. Once completed, the wall stood tall and strong, and Zulkarnain warned the people that it would remain intact until Allah decreed otherwise. The Yajuj Majuj, trapped on the other side, would attempt to break through the wall every day, but would find it impenetrable. Despite their best efforts, the wall stood firm, and they were unable to breach it. Yet even in their captivity, the Yajuj Majuj never ceased their attempts to destroy the barrier. They would lick the wall, weakening it slightly each day, and even though they couldn't break it, they believed they would succeed. Their leader would assure them that tomorrow would be the day they would prevail. But each time they returned the following day, the wall remained intact, as it was protected by the will of Allah. However, at the appointed time, the Yajuj Majuj will be able to break through the wall. This moment will occur near the end of times, when Hazrat Isa alayhi salam will take the believers to Mount Sinai for refuge. Upon their release, the Yajuj Majuj will cause widespread destruction. As they march across the land, they will drink up rivers, consume forests, and destroy everything in their path. The first group to emerge will reach the Bahr Itibia, a lake in Palestine, and will drink all its water. When the last group arrives, they will be astonished to find the lake completely dry, and they will declare, "There used to be water here." As their terror spreads, entire cities will fall into despair. People will lock themselves in their homes, hoarding whatever food remains. Prices will skyrocket, and the world's roads will fall silent, with dust swirling in the air. The Yajuj Majuj will continue their destruction until they believe they have wiped out all of humanity. In a final act of defiance, they will shoot arrows into the sky, only for the arrows to return covered in blood. At that point, Hazrat Isa alayhi salam and his companions will raise their hands in prayer to Allah, asking for deliverance. In response to their supplication, Allah will send a plague, a virus, which will strike the necks of the Yajuj Majuj, causing them to die in great numbers. Their bodies will pile up across the earth, so many that it will become impossible to walk the streets without stepping on their decaying corpses. Seeing the end of their tormentors, the people will emerge from their homes in astonishment. The world will finally be at peace once more, and Hazrat Isa alayhi salam will thank Allah for this victory. But the story does not end there. After Hazrat Isa alayhi salam's departure, a new chapter will begin, marked by the emergence of another strange creature, Dab Batukama. May Allah grant us the ability to do good deeds and save us from harm. Ameen. The story of Yajuj and Majuj, two infamous communities mentioned in the sacred texts, is one that carries a message of warning and reflection. As we approach the times of Qayamat, or the Day of Judgment, Allah Ta'ala will send His mighty angel, Hazrat Jibril alayhi salam, to take away some of the most precious gifts bestowed upon humanity. These blessings include the Holy Quran, the very essence of divine knowledge, along with the coffin of Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam, the divine scriptures, and 5 canals that feed the earth with sustenance. Their removal will mark the beginning of a time when the earth becomes spiritually barren, deprived of these 6 great sources of blessings. The very soul of the earth will be shaken, leaving humanity in a state of spiritual void. Before Qayamat, just as darkness will engulf the earth, certain terrifying tribes will emerge, marking the advent of a dread unlike anything witnessed before. Among these will be a race of people whose women will possess the remarkable ability to give birth to over 1,000 children, a feat that speaks to their immense power and vitality. These beings will be so formidable that no human force will be able to resist them. Their power will be absolute, and the fear they instill will be so great that the people of the world will be compelled to hide indoors, along with their animals, in a desperate attempt to escape their wrath. Wherever these terrifying tribes pass, they will consume all in their path. Wild animals, birds, water, greenery, everything in their wake will be devoured, and nothing will escape their insatiable hunger. Snakes, scorpions, and even humans will not be spared. All will fall victim to their terrifying power. Entire cities, villages, and communities will be destroyed as these beings ravage the land, leaving behind nothing but desolation. This brings us to the subject of our 6th video in the series, which will delve into the detailed story of Yajuj and Majuj. In this video, we will explore their origins, their nature, and their terrifying impact on the world as we approach the end of time. We will discuss who these beings are, where they come from, and how they will emerge to wreak havoc on the world. Who imprisoned them behind the Great Wall, and why? What is their connection to the children of Hazrat Adam alayhi salam? And what does their release mean for the world? Before diving into the full details, I kindly urge you to watch this entire video, share it with your friends and family, and support us with your likes, comments, and shares. By doing so, we can spread this important knowledge to those around us and prepare ourselves for the events to come. Let us begin by considering the creation of the world, a process that Allah Ta'ala undertook with great wisdom. There are over 200 creatures created by Allah, each with a specific purpose in the grand scheme of creation. These beings, like all things in the universe, will be destroyed at the time of doomsday. Some of these creatures have wreaked havoc upon the earth, committing cruelty and oppression that has caused darkness to spread across the land. In response, Allah sent His prophets to guide and warn these nations, leading them toward righteousness and justice. Among these nations was the cruel and vicious community of Yajuj and Majuj. After the defeat of the Dajjal and the return of peace to the world, Allah will instruct Hazrat Isa alayhi salam to take all the believers to the safety of Mount Sinai, also known as Kohitur. This is the very mountain where Hazrat Musa alayhi salam used to communicate directly with Allah. The reason for this retreat will be the release of a community so ruthless and powerful that no nation will be able to stand against them. The arrival of Yajuj and Majuj will signify the end of any peace on earth, and their terror will send even the bravest of hearts into hiding. The terrifying reality of Yajuj and Majuj begins with their origin. They are descendants of Hazrat Adam alayhi salam, just like all of humanity. However, they are a special group that was divided from the rest of the children of Adam. Hazrat Adam alayhi salam had 3 sons, one of whom, Yaf, had 12 sons. Among these sons were Yajuj and Majuj, and from them, this dreaded race of beings emerged. Allah Ta'ala divided the children of Adam into 10 parts, with Yajuj and Majuj representing 9 of those parts. They are, according to some traditions, infidels, and are considered to be under the influence of the devil. Yajuj and Majuj are not only mentioned in Islamic tradition, but also in the religious texts of other faiths. In the Holy Quran, their story is detailed in Surah Al-Kahf, verses 83 to 97, where they are described as savage and ferocious tribes. These tribes were known for their atrocities, their destructive nature, and their disregard for human life. They were a formidable force living in the farthest reaches of North Asia, where they would raid and pillage other nations. Described as short in stature, with broad faces and small eyes, their complexion was fair and their hair was black. They were a people who thrived on destruction. They would raid villages, consume everything in their path, and leave nothing behind. It was said that they would even devour snakes and scorpions, leaving no creature alive. Their attacks on human settlements were relentless, and they would destroy crops, kill livestock, and loot whatever they could find. The terror they instilled in the hearts of people was immense. The people who lived in constant fear of Yajuj and Majuj prayed to Allah for deliverance. One day, while they were asleep, they woke up to find an unknown army encamped in their fields. This army, under the leadership of Hazrat Zulqarnain, had come to their rescue. Hazrat Zulqarnain, a king blessed by Allah Ta'ala, was known for his wisdom, strength, and piety. He was not a prophet but was a righteous servant of Allah who had been entrusted with great power. Upon meeting the leaders of the community, Hazrat Zulqarnain promised to build a barrier that would protect them from Yajuj and Majuj. Hazrat Zulqarnain, with the help of the local people, set about constructing a massive iron wall between two mountains. This wall would be so strong that it would prevent Yajuj and Majuj from passing through and wreaking havoc on the world. The construction of the wall was an arduous task, requiring iron sheets and molten copper. The wall was so solid that even the might of Yajuj and Majuj could not breach it. However, Hazrat Zulqarnain made it clear that this wall would not last forever. When Allah's will was enacted, the wall would eventually crumble, allowing Yajuj and Majuj to break free and spread destruction across the earth once again. Today, even though the wall remains intact, Yajuj and Majuj continue to attempt to break through. Every day they make efforts to dig through the wall, slowly weakening it. Yet despite their relentless attempts, the wall remains unbroken. Their leader has been ordered to halt their efforts each day and return the next, only to find the wall as strong as ever. This cycle will continue until the day of judgment when, at the appointed time, the wall will be breached. It is important to understand that the breaking of the wall will not occur until a specific moment in time as determined by Allah Ta'ala. The phrase Insha'Allah, meaning if Allah wills, will play a significant role in the breaking of the wall. When this phrase is spoken by the leader of Yajuj and Majuj, it will be the moment when the wall begins to crumble, and their release will be imminent. As their armies emerge, the devastation they will cause will be unimaginable. They will drink the water of rivers, consume the trees, and destroy everything in their path. Their first group will reach the great Bahr-e-Tibia lake in Palestine, and they will drink every drop of water there, leaving the lake dry. The power of Yajuj and Majuj will be such that the entire world will fall into a state of terror. People will hide in their homes, afraid to venture outside. The earth will be stripped of all life, and only Yajuj and Majuj will reign supreme. They will shoot arrows toward the sky, and the arrows will return covered in blood, signaling their dominance over the earth. However, this reign of terror will not last forever. As Hazrat Isa alayhi salam, along with the believers, prays for deliverance, Allah will respond. He will send a disease, a deadly plague, that will strike the necks of Yajuj and Majuj, causing them to die in great numbers. Their bodies will pile up and the earth will be filled with the stench of their corpses. The world will be left in silence as the terror of Yajuj and Majuj is brought to an end. After their destruction, Allah will send birds with long necks like camels to carry away the corpses of Yajuj and Majuj, and their bodies will be cast into an unknown place. The earth will be cleansed and peace will once again be restored. This will be a time of great trial and tribulation, but it will also be a reminder of the power and mercy of Allah. As we reflect on the story of Yajuj and Majuj, we are reminded of the importance of faith, patience, and perseverance in the face of adversity. The events of Qayamat will unfold as Allah has decreed, and it is only through His mercy that we can find salvation.